Hi, all you Infinitels out there. This is Joel Traveler, also known as Rattler Next on the forums, and with me today is Obadiah.
Also known as Nehemiah on the forums, which I just started posting on. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You just finally came back to the
Yeah, I think I've posted 4 things now. It's a rush.
I don't go on the forums that often either anymore. I used to be on there a lot more. With the HSN3, I really only go to the Warcore forum and take a look and see what I need to know for new releases and demos and that kind of stuff. But welcome to the second episode of Chain of Command. So, apologies for the break. I've been sick for the last couple of weeks and trying to have a show where you get up in front of people when you're coughing your guts out doesn't work. But we really wanted to talk about Uprising. For those of you who haven't received your book yet, who didn't go to Adepticon, here it is. Codex Mercenaries is right here for you.
Pretty much. It's got all the background you need to know for your different mercenary factions, as well as the JSA, who are now broken free from the oppressive might of Yuxing and fallen right into the oppressive might of the Kuge. So that'll be a pretty fun development, and I know a lot of people seem to be upset about it.
Yeah, they do. But you know what?
It
doesn't
way
matter.
it is. Yeah,
it's the way it is, and
yeah.
there's lots of fun to be had. I think new Japanese Secessionist Army is really fun and flavorful. There's a ton of Harris options that I think are really entertaining and interesting to use. The core is still really strong. I like some of the internal balance issues that they went with.
Well, yeah, the Ryukin seem like they've got a lot of playability in a lot of different missions.
Yeah, lot of playability.
I mean, just being able to
auto-include is another way to say it.
Yeah, that too. But when you only have 17 units in your army, something's going to be auto-include.
Well, yeah. They are a bit light on the units comparison. So what we were going to do today is Obadiah and I were talking, and we really wanted to not really talk about Japanese because that's what people are talking about a bit. People have talked about the Druze in the past. We want to talk about Ikari and SatrCo, and we came up with 2 lists each for 2 missions. We chose a button-pushing mission in Acquisition, and we chose a take and hold mission like Supremacy. Okay? So for those of you, the mobile app is finally updated. If you cleared your cache, it'll work. All right, mine does. But you guys can see that
I think it's cache, but I could be mistaken.
It's cache.
I don't think it's cache. You're not sashaying, but I could be mistaken.
Do you know? Yeah. Okay. So let me see. Let's pop up a couple things here. So this is the one that I was thinking about for. Well, let's talk in generalities. Hold on, let me go back. So first of all, with Ikari, what are your initial thoughts about Ikari?
That they hit very hard. They seem like they would be very useful in a lot of direct action. I feel like in missions that require a lot of button pushing, like Comm Center or Tic-Tac-Toe, they would have some trouble just because they don't have a good infiltrator specialist. And
yeah, they just have the ninja with their team.
Yeah, I mean, ninja's great. Single ninja can do a lot of work, but only having one and then not having a lot of fast and mobile, because if I recall, I think the next cheapest one is going to be like a brawler.
Yeah, from a specialist perspective.
I guess Keisotsu, but they're whip 12 and likely to die as soon as they go anywhere.
Because they never win a shootout. We've got a couple of AD options. So you have ABH. They don't have any specialist abilities, but you have the Bashis, and you have a specialist Bashi, and you have specialist. Well, the Cube Jaegers are all paramedics, so you've got those options. They're both 4/4 when they get on the board.
But I mean, if you look at the points cost, they're 18 points for the Cube Jaeger, 17 for the Bashi.
Right.
And they can start up the field, they're still starting on the side, so they've still got 8 inches to move.
And they're all BS, and they're both BS11. Your Druze, yeah.
You got a lot of options with the Druze, but again, they're just expensive. Is kind of their kind of the big thing. It seems like it's either fairly expensive and not super survivable,
right?
Or you take the Wu Ming and just power through things.
You've got the you still got the Pathfinder. 6/4 forward observing bots are always good, but yeah, I mean you're really just left with the Ninja, the Pathfinder, your fastest, most mobile specialist options. Wooming, Fort Observer is decent, but he's 31 points.
I guess the main thing is you can always just smoke the heck out of the table with all the different smoke throwers.
Yeah, there's a ton of different smoke.
And then just run amok, pushing as many buttons as you can.
Same metric.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
So for those who don't know, Obadiah is a pretty good Toa player. So
unfortunately, not anything other player. So
not
thinking of lists is very confusing. I'm like, wait, I got to take it's 5 guys.
But it's fun because when you design a list, you're looking at it from a very different perspective. You're looking at it from like coming from that solely Toha-esque perspective and coming into the human elements of it. You get a different view than somebody who like only stays with humanity with a very kind of a 6-month foray into Morats, because angry murder monkeys are fun, but
they still play quite a bit like human
they really do,
just because what they are bringing isn't entirely unique to them. Right.
Except the Morat rule, the much maligned Morat rule.
Yeah. So well, I mean, that's if you're playing assassins, you're kind of already familiar with some similarities, right?
Yeah.
The religious part and
and the the fact that you really want to take a whole bunch of them because they're not terribly survivable. So really, from a button pushing perspective, there aren't a lot of options. You're going to slog up the field, right? And so that's what Ikari does a lot of, as compared to them to JSA or even Druze, where Druze you can take Hansakuts. You can take 2 Hansakuts, which are
Saito, which is also
and Saito. Yeah, so you've got 3 really great infiltrating options. Whip 14 for Hansakuts and Whip 13 for Saito. Those are all solid.
You also got the guys like the Peacemaker also to kind of hang out and protect those guys in Druze.
Right.
And Ryukin to protect those guys in
JSA.
So you have some extra support for the infiltrators rather than just kind of having one ass out. Right.
Yeah, JSA. So one of the things we call it defense in depth. And it's one of the things I like about Assassins is you can create a lot of defense in depth, meaning as the enemy player advances up the board, they have to go through multiple zones in which you already have models at any point in the game starting in that area. So JSA is really good at this. They have Oniwaban, who can go far with superior infiltration, and they've got they've got ninjas and Saito and Ryukin, and Ryukin are fantastic at zonal control. They've got a lot of zonal control with Jimbo. They've got several mine layer profiles between Ryukin and Oda. So you're going to have to get through JSA in multiple layers, and a canny, I think JSA General is going to set it up in that manner. It's easy to kind of like bank on one trick pony, but
well, I think that's kind of something they need to do too, just to keep their long range, few long range, or sometimes you won't even be taking more than 1 or 2 long-range profiles within JSA. So they need to have that ability to keep that base alive for as long as possible. So somebody doesn't just do the same to what you're going to be trying to do to them, which is throw an Oniwaban up there and chop some stuff up.
And then, as they advance forward, your Oniwabans can be, doing hit-and-run tactics from the back. If you happen to be going second, you can just let people walk by. If they're not censoring the area, they're making a mistake. I now including, because of the prevalence of JSA kind of, I think, everywhere, I'm now bringing censor in like every one of my lists. And if I don't, I feel like there's a gaping hole that I'm going to be missing.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I mean, as Toha player, that's one of the things I've always loved about the baggage Chaksa, is somebody playing JSA, and like, if they made the roll, or, that I know that they're going to be trying to come after me, and just throw down some Chaksa and move them up and do a coordinated sensor sweep and get everything that you need.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. I think that the Ikari are going to hit really hard. They do make it more challenging from a button pushing perspective. They do have to slog the field for the most part.
One other thing I noticed as I was making them is they don't seem to have a whole lot of lieutenant options. I think it's Druze, Keisotsu, which is a full SWC, which you don't really want to be spending.
No.
And then
the Brawler,
which is your cheapest option.
Well, so he's 16 points, and he's
cheapest without SWC.
Without SWC, which can be impactful. With JSA, I could design a lot of JSA lists that aren't going to use all of the all their SWC because I'm going to rely more on close combat. But I know a lot of people who do, want to maximize their SWC output, and then that one Keisotsu, that one SWC Keisotsu can be a real pain in the ass.
Yeah, I think it's less of a problem in Japanese than it is in Ikari.
Yeah,
I feel like Ikari, you want as many hard-hitting tools as you can get because that's what makes them so powerful. Right, is that they have access to all those.
So what do you think about how some people are saying that Druze or Ikari are just better Druze?
I think that it's just a matter of looking at what each one can do. It's going to be a matter of which missions are going to be in the lineup for a tournament, or what missions you're just going to be playing in a friendly game. I feel like Druze have a lot more, like you said, defense in layers, or even attack waves in layers, because they also have access to the Bashi Bazooks. Right. They also have access to Saito, who's a monster. Yeah. They have access to a Peacemaker, which is a lot of fun, having played against one and make sure. I
used to take one of my Acon lists all the time. I really like the Peacemaker. I think it's opportunity cost when you compare it to a Bulleteer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with Bulleteer, you are kind of already set up. You don't have to do a whole lot with it. Yeah. You get that ODD and you go to town. Whereas the Peacemaker is requires a little bit more finesse and can easily get shot out from under you. Right. So I think it's a matter of are you going first or not, about which one I think is.
They still make good roadblocks.
Yeah. I mean, it's something that you definitely want to take out. If there's a good place for it to get entrenched in with its little bot, it can be. You're going to be sacrificing something to try and get to it.
Right. So I think Druze is still a wonderful standalone army. I think they've got a lot of capabilities. They're smaller force, but I think they're nail drivers in a lot of ways.
Well, I think the thing with the Druze as well is that the flexibility of the links. You can bring a lot of brawlers, you can bring a lot of Druze, and then as things just get weeded out, you can keep reforming links. You can throw in Gromez if you need to. Yeah. There's even a lot of flexibility with kind of the deployment side of things, because you don't have to. You can bring a lot of different tools and then decide to link up what you want at the start of the game, rather than with Ikari, where you kind of have to build that link, and that is your link.
That's a good point. So one of the things about Ikari, when you look at the differences, the link team flexibility for Druze is extreme, one of the most extreme in the entire game. But for Ikari, it's extremely set piece. You have to have 4 Wu-Ming and a Clipper, or 2 Wu-Ming Harris and a Brawler or Clipper. You have to have all these very specific pieces, and if one of those goes down or one of those is not present in whatever shape or form, you can't reform that link. Yeah. Meaning that, if you lose one of your Wu-Ming pieces on that 5-man link, if you haven't brought the Harris, you can't reform that thing at all, and you've got a bunch of solos.
Which makes bringing the Harris kind of essential if you're going to bring him.
And the fact he's 0 SWC and 25 points, and he's
the cheapest option anyway, so you might as well be bringing at least one of him. Right. Chain rifle and SMG is actually no slouch on those things either.
No, it's arm 4. He's 7 in cover. He didn't sit on an objective and just hang out and suppressor fire. Yeah. And not care. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's not bad at all.
So I think that's the big the big downside on the Ikari is that you're going to be playing. I mean, breaking apart those links, which does happen. We all know what happens, is going to mean that
you're not reforming it, and you're not getting your 3 back, which is a big part of sectorials. Right. I hear.
Yes. Yes. Well, you play the super sectorial. Yeah. And then you have SatrCo, which I've been playing. I played in a tournament last weekend. For one of the last backdoor options.
One thing I want to bring up too is Druze actually do hacking incredibly well. The amount of hacker coverage that they can put out would actually be kind of a nightmare if you're running around with Wu-Ming.
Yeah, if you're playing Transmission Matrix. And another thing is no one anti-Druze bombs better than Druze. Yeah. Because they get so much better in options. Yeah. The other thing,
SatrCo, Free Company of the Star.
Yeah, and these guys are also known as, Justice League. These guys are just all the name character from Outrage, and for the most part,
They're the super friends.
Yeah, they're the super friends, and I've been playing them. I really enjoy them. There's a couple of massively, I don't know, OP is the right word, but they have some badass profiles. Emily Handelman is one of them and should not be underrated. She can Druze bomb better than Druze. She's some funny things about her is when you put her in a 5-man link, her base whip stat goes up to 17 for flash pulses and forward observing, and she has mimetism.
Yeah.
So she's going to be able to sit up and hold an ARO probably.
And she's got Daga too, so if she takes that win, she's still offering a very solid defense.
Right.
So yeah, she's kind of a pain in the butt.
And then she's BS 13, so she shoots 5% worse than she flash pulses, which you can't always say. The X Visor also makes it extremely useful. It's the same as a Druze.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing is the X Visor with flash pulse is also she's covering the entire
table.
board.
Yeah. You can sit her out there and just have her do. There's all kinds of fun things. The assault pistol with X Visor is really good. It does give you burst 5 in that link, and you can compensate for the -6 range band and -3 range band with your +3 burst if you're in a 5-man link.
Yeah.
I took out an Ecdromoy with the assault pistol.
Well, at 16, it's a 0 band, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
already a 0.
Right.
It's -3 up to 24, and then it can't be used. But
right,
it's not a bad option.
She's a beast. She has classic Pano physique though, and this is when I've lost her because there's a
chain rifle or grenade,
flamethrower. That's what I got. I got flamethrowered. She took out a Seraph last night.
Okay.
But the flamethrower bot got her.
Yeah.
Because her armor blows. The other one that's just a monster is Raoul Spectre. We even coined a term in our local meta because we have another great player, Tony Zhao, who plays SatrCo as well. It's called Getting Raouled. Getting Raouled is essentially having Raoul Spectre jump down from the skies somewhere near you on a physique 13 and then killing half of your force, which he's quite capable. So I played, I used him for just some different things over the last week. I brought him in against a Steel Phalanx list. Makian was hiding in Transmission Matrix, and he was taking a far zone, so I jumped in behind a crate around him, threw a couple of
drop bears,
drop bears around him, came around, forced him to react, and then didn't even shoot him. I shot somebody else, and he still was nixed by the mines.
Okay. Yeah.
So I put him into loss of lieutenant, and then I controlled that transmission matrix zone for 2 turns until he finally ate it from a Ramboing chain rifling Myrmidon. But this guy's epic. His EM2 close combat weapon is brutal. Forcing 3 armor. 3 saves, 2 BTS saves, and a regular save every time he hits on a physique 13.
Well, he's also got natural born warrior, so anybody that's not close combat oriented, he's going to be hitting on 15s for a crit.
Yep.
Which does only apply the immobilized side of things, or the isolated side of things, but
it is
pretty nasty.
It's pretty good.
And then going up against another martial artist, he's negating any of their abilities, which is also great.
And then it becomes a straight dice off, which
are never fun to get into. So you probably don't want to throw a ninja or Oni Wildman at him.
No, I was playing an MO player the other night too, and I thought about putting him against a Magister Knight, and then I decided to go after a Machinist instead. And
you totally should have, because
it's a straight dice off. That's what I didn't want to do.
Yeah, but it's the EM. EM's always so fun against a heavy infantry.
Yeah, but they're 22, and I negate their MA, and it just I just didn't want to do it. But,
no, I understand why you chose the sensible route, but
so Raoul Spectre and Emily should probably be in most of your lists. People are talking about his irregular AD, but who cares? 33 points. He's got an order to himself that he just does work with.
And I think the thing to keep in mind too is when you're doing AD, you're going to be spending that regular order anyways.
Yeah.
So it really doesn't tend to come into play all that much. And once you have him down on the ground, he's probably spending 1 turn and then is going to get wiped out on your turn, or you're going to keep using him. So spinning orders on him is not really a problem, especially for this character because he is somebody that you want to push a lot of orders into.
Right, and him with no wounding cap. So you run the Gout Tarsos every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know what it's like to have a 2-woundish model ADing back behind somebody's lines, especially one who can do everything well. Push buttons, kill people in close combat, shoot really well. He's got the drop bears
too, which just... And he's got so many different options that really allow him to kind of set up for any attack that he wants to.
Right. So, yeah, Armandino, I rolled the Arm 4 the other day.
Oh, that's always fun.
And against Steel Phalanx, and he hung out for a really long time, and he captured the central transmission matrix zone antenna for 2 rounds.
Jeez.
Just hanging out.
Yeah.
8 points.
They will. They're when they're Arm 5 and they're basically a heavy infantry because they've got the same physique.
Right.
They're a heavy infantry that can't shoot a damn thing.
Nope. Okay, so what we're gonna do is let's go into some lists. Like I said, we had 2 missions in mind. We had Acquisition and Supremacy. So this one right here, I just brought 2 lists that I really liked for mine. So I'm gonna do mine first. So this one's 80 for the win. Now, one of the really interesting things about SatrCo is that a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's kind of similar to Corregidor," and it is kind of similar to Corregidor, but it's different in a couple of noticeable ways. Not least of which with when you do zonal control, it only has access to 1 baggage spot, which is important. But there's something interesting that happens with certain profiles. So the Hellcat, I feel, is probably one of the big all-stars for SatrCo, but in Corregidor, and there are tons of Corregidor players who will say I'm wrong. I almost never took the Hellcat. I actually never took the Hellcat because you have so many other... The opportunity cost in Corregidor is so high. You can take Tomcats for cheaper that do different, do slightly different things, but shoot just as well. Bring in flamethrowers to the middle of the board. But in SatrCo, you could take Raoul Spectre, or you could take a Hellcat, take that HMG Emauler Hellcat for almost the same price with an SWC differential. Or you can do like this list, and you can just take both. So what I've done here is I've created a... you can do this for a zonal control mission. You can do it for acquisition too, but really this list is about like an amazing core link in the Aguasiles with Emily, with some skirmishers, and then you're dropping Raoul in, and you're dropping a Hellcat in. You've got a lot of smoke, and you've got a Brawler Harris with MSV2 that's able to shoot anything off the board. You've got Uhahu. I had a lot of luck this weekend with using White Noise and Uhahu to allow I used a variant of this list to use a Aguasila missile launcher to burst to destroy things off the other side of the board.
No, that's White Noise
to a Toha player. Not you, because you weren't there.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what you want to do with White Noise. Is anytime there's an ARO that has MSV, you put up White Noise and it gets destroyed. And that's why I stopped bringing that MSV sniper, because I was like, I'm tired of that happening.
Well, it wasn't that prevalent before, but now, I think you have a lot of people who are going to be on the SatrCo bandwagon.
I played a lot of people playing Onyx.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
And that would happen a lot.
Gotcha. Well, it's deserved because Auto Triad is dumb. And Auto Triad, if you guys don't know, is a Gaude rail sniper, a Sukiel commando missile launcher, and then whatever filler. Yeah. I like the Paramedic because it's organic and it's right there, but I know you use a different one.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this list, what I brought a Ford Observing Aguasile, a HMG Aguasile, and 2 regular Aguasiles, and then Emily. So Emily, this is important. This is kind of my core. Whenever I start a SatrCo list, I start with something similar to this. The Ford Observer, I'll even drop and just go down to a 10-point and put 3 10-point Aguasiles in there. With an HMG, the HMG is just there for active turn shooting when I need high burst.
Yeah.
BS-14 in the 5-man link with burst 5 HMG is always solid. And then Emily. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll put a missile launcher in here instead, like I just talked about. Really, what you want is Emily to be able to get that 5-man benefit, because she can just control the board. She can drop EM all over the place on 10s for the most part.
Yeah. She can also drop a regular grenade too. That's actually what's really nasty about her is it's kind of dealer's choice at this point.
Right.
If they got heavy infantry, you drop the EM. If they have light infantry, you just drop a regular grenade, because it might be better just to knock somebody out rather than to isolate them.
And if you know where the neat thing about SatrCo in general is they have a lot of answers for heavy infantry, for tags, and they're actually good at going after lieutenants.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to drop EM. Drew's is the same thing. They do. But then you have Raoul Spectre, who's really good at going after lieutenants, because most lieutenants are not close combat monsters. Yeah. Right? But Raoul can go in there and he can pick and choose whatever method he wants to go and try to kill a lieutenant. So I really like the Ermendinos. I'm still playing with them. Just 8 points of bundle. Like, you don't know what's going to happen with him. You know what he's going to be able to do. You don't know how long he's going to survive. But he's going to do his thing, and I just let these guys run around and do their own deal.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of, why wouldn't you take them?
Yeah.
And they have scavengers, so if you take somebody out, they can always pick up some sweet gear.
Yeah. Yeah. I still haven't scavenged anything, because it's a full order.
Yeah.
And I still haven't spent it to do it, but I don't know.
It sounds like a lot of fun, though.
I don't know what I would like best. Something ridiculous. Something like like an HMG or like an MSR.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a grenade launcher would be like kind of one of the best things they could get, or even just a heavy flamethrower, things like that.
If he killed a Dotarazi and he stole the grenades, regular grenades, I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, he'd be nasty.
Or Krakot. I mean, physique 14, he's good.
Yeah, he's got Krakot strength.
Yeah, he's got Krakot strength.
Actually, he's better than Krakot, I think. Krakot's 13. Base.
Krakot's 13, that's right. Unless you do the super roll.
Yeah.
So here you can see that I've got the baggage bot. I've got I've got the flash pulse bot. I've got a Jaguar here. Jaguar is just to throw smoke. A fun trick. The Ermendino can be linked to a Zonbot, and then the Zonbot gets extreme impetuous as well. So you can do ridiculous things like run a Zonbot into close combat with somebody, or get burst 2 on your Ermendino.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny, and it's just kind of silly. One thing I'm missing in this list, and this is one of my early iteration lists, when SatrCo first came out, is I didn't include the sensor bot, and that's something I've remedied since, because I do think it's important. Down here, I've included 3 more Jags. They're all the cheap chain rifle Jags. Uhahu I've included for her just usability. This list does a really great job of locking down tags and heavy infantry. And then I brought a Brawler MSV2, the Brawler Lieutenant, and the CSU. Yeah, this is an early list because I screwed this up. So these don't Harris. These are just gonna fight solo because I got to take the Harris option. Yeah, so I didn't save my update list. But then really it's about
get this off the screen,
right? Uhahu, she can do jump support, or and you can bring in your Hellcat. The Hellcat with HMG and E-Mauler.
Yeah, that's a nasty combo.
I really like this because he can drop that E-Mauler near something and then poke out the wall. And even though he's within 8 inches of whatever, if they react, they've got a dodge change facing a -3 anyway, and they can get EM'd. But then he's going to hit stuff across the table, because a lot of times people talk about Spitfires and stuff on these troops. But
well, the nice thing about that is you also have something to defend himself with, because you can just put down that E-Mauler. Doesn't have to be against something that's he's trying to shoot at, but then he has something so he's not getting snuck up on as easily.
Right.
At least make him spend another order or 2 to try and get to him.
Right. I've got the Breaker Combi CSU on here, and it's a specialist one. I haven't decided which one I like better. I think
CSU.
Yeah, the rifle light shotgun or the Breaker Combi. I don't know. I think they're both equally good, but for the 3 points you save by using the rifle light shotgun, I've started to use that one more. So that's what I have for kind of some zonal. Well, I don't know what this is. This is just a list I thought was awesome to bring in Hellcats and have them drop in and then shoot people in the back from across the board.
Yeah, it's always fun.
So let's look at we'll do acquisition. Okay, so we'll look at your SatrCo acquisition list.
All right, so this is my acquisition list. I got a couple. I brought the Alawaha to be a infiltrating specialist. Go up and hit a button. I saw that the Bandit has Scavenger, and so I decided that I really liked them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then, of course, you bring Raoul to do some fun stuff. I actually ended up bringing a similar list with Aguaseals, brought HMG and missile launchers. Probably wouldn't have them hanging out depending on what I'm going up against. And usually would have the missile launcher probably active turn duty, because I found that having an active duty or active turn missile launcher is a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
People kind of don't expect it, and
Yeah.
if you leave it hanging out, it's going to get killed, and probably won't kill anything when it's an Aguasil with BS of, even with his boosted BS of 14. Then I got Emily there to do her thing, and then a Jaguar. And if you scroll up real quick,
Yep.
So I've got, I guess I got a full combat group. Never mind. All right, so then combat group 2, I decided that I wanted another bandit.
Yeah.
And
It's a good choice.
got some Jaguars in there to throw some smoke around, mainly orders and kind of area control, because they have the chain rifle, they have the smoke grenades, so they can get somewhere where they need to be to use them effectively. We got martial arts level 2, which is not bad if you can get him in against somebody who's not particularly good at close combat.
Against this, I got more crits in close combat Jaguars at the tournament last weekend than I have in the last 6 months, including all my time playing Morats.
Yeah,
I got 3 crits in close combat with them.
that's not bad at all. You're
Against
rolling high.
Sukiels. Against Sukiels.
That's always fun.
Yeah, deserve it.
And then one thing I did here with this, so I actually took the Riot Girl to be kind of my data tracker, was my idea.
Oh, okay.
Multi-rifle stun grenades.
Good
She
choice.
can run in there, try and grab, hold on to the objective at the end of the game. She's got a little bit of a couple of different options to help keep her alive with the hyperdynamics, the stun grenades, and the multi-rifle.
Yeah.
So kind of a lot of different things.
As an option here, you have 1.5 SWC2, so you could. This is NOF. On the off chance you ever wanted to take NOF, it's 1.5 and 32. But I think this is a good data tracker. Unfortunately, she has Frenzy, which sucks.
Yeah, well, Frenzy's not too bad. It's you can deal with it. I guess having her on solo though is a little bit rough. But I also put I thought I brought the Ermendino in this one. I guess I didn't. But I brought the Dactari and the Zonbot to help keep that Aguasil link as healthy as possible.
Right.
Brought a decoy lieutenant one because I thought that would be fun to hide somebody out and see if I can draw out something like Raoul and have him spend a whole lot of orders to kill an Aguasil.
Well, when you got Emily
And
with
then
Chain of Command too, you can do some.
Yeah, a lot of different fun stuff. And I also brought the War Corps to take pictures of all the cool stuff that SatrCo's doing, and so they can show off that they're the mercenary company with a heart.
If you guys haven't read the fluff, it's actually really good. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, they're basically the mercenary branch of Corregidor,
Right.
And they have a whole lot of PR management type of things where
they do a lot of NGO support.
Yeah,
they're
pretty hilarious. They're all about basically building their profile as a completely legitimate
right
army for hire.
Right.
Because people will buy that.
And then you get
But yeah, so I got a couple bandits. I figured most of the work is probably going to be Raoul in that first group, and then what did I do with? Yeah, so the bandit also here has a deployable repeater. So I was figuring, with the rise of Ikari and all that, and JSA, having somebody with a deployable repeater that I can spin some orders on to put that repeater in, and then start hacking away with
the
Al-Hawa assault hacker, and then having the other bandit there to help back him up if needed.
Nice. Plus the combi rifle and mines on this guy too. This is actually a cool profile. I think was a lot. It's hidden and underrated when you look at Corregidor a lot. But he can go sit on, he can sit on an acquired objective, put himself in suppressive fire, and he's a pain in the tail
to dig
dislodge,
out. Yeah. You can. I mean, the funniest thing is you can drop a deployable repeater if there's heavy infantry on the table, and then keep them from coming around and getting him
right
that way. and then they have to send a hacker to go hack through that repeater to then send in something to deal with him. So seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'd be spending my orders on completely with this one in the first couple turns, but I figure
I think this is
got some serviceable stuff.
This is your first turn.
Oh yeah,
right, for the most part, and then this.
And then that I probably have this guy here run around and do some stuff. I might even switch those two.
That's what I was thinking. You switch these two out. The problem with bandits is their low whip relatively can be kind of a pain.
So actually, what I was thinking is this guy here, this bandit, would be. Oh yeah, they're not too smart, are they?
No, they're 12s.
But this is having Raul go in. If I see a cool weapon that I want, have him go kill somebody, and then I can spend orders having this guy run over there and grab it.
Yeah. And he goes kills a hacker, and then he can go become a hacker himself.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, so let's go to Ikari. We're still doing acquisition, right?
Sure, let's do. Just run through that way.
Is this the right one?
See, that's why I named mine simply.
I was just messing around with stuff. You know what? No, this is the one. Okay.
For acquisition?
Yeah. So what this is 19 orders.
Oh.
This is 19 orders. Okay, so what I've included is one of the better links that I think you have in one of the most flexible links I think you have in the game is in Ikari where you have the Keisotsu. You take 3 Keisotsu. You take a Tonko, and you take an MSV2 brawler to get them up to 5. And then with all the smoke options you have in Ikari, you can just litter the field and maneuver the brawler around and just do wicked stuff. I played this a couple different ways. My other link uses a missile launcher Tonko instead, but I think this one's good too. I include the Keisotsu Lieutenant in this one because I was trying to go for really max disruptive capability. There's 3 Impetuous in this one because they're going to be running around doing some stuff. You usually, even if you only have first turn, you're only going to be able to get off a couple of shots across the board with an MSV2 sniper. So maybe 3. I would expect maybe to spend 3 orders on the early turns doing this. These smoke tossers and Yojimbo, Desperados, and the Yan Yan coming down, they're going to handle themselves. They're self-contained little smoke delivery systems. That's fine. And then I've got 2 Keisotsu hackers here. They're cheap, 0.5 SWC, 17 points, and they're really there to help power what happens in the second part of the list. One of the things I do for list design too, we're gonna have a show about this when we have Michael here too, because each one of us guys have kind of a different approach to list design. One of the things that I do is, since I run higher order count lists, I like to create bad options or tricky options for my opponent if I'm going to go first. They can decide to take away 2 of my orders from something, but I like to leave them no good choices. So I'm going to be able to do something. So even though they took 2 away from here, I'd still have 5 orders to shoot MSV2 snipers across the board. I can still spend my 2 orders using my Keisotsu hackers to put support wear on the Rushi. I had 2 Rushi in this list originally, but I downgraded them to a Luduan. So I've got 2 Luduan, 2 Panglings, just baggage bots. Actually, this is my zonal control list. I've got a Pathfinder and Fugazi for sensor in the same one, and a TR bot along with an engineer and his helper bot. So this entire order group is all mechanical with the exception of the engineer, and it's designed to be very self-contained. The Luduan run around with their great Mark 12s. They get support wear if needed. I can put 1 support wear on the Spitfire Rushi, the other one on the TR bot, and just put them in a good spot. I can sensor sweep the area, and I still have a ton of orders. I still have 9 orders to run around, or I still have 7 orders left after that to go run around and go do stuff.
Yeah, no, that's pretty nasty. You can also use the Luduan to hide this Pangling if you want to, and put out 8 Pangling on the table.
I've got all the Pangling. So, and then I can make them the TR Pangling. And then they're very terrifying.
I'd actually probably just throw them in as minesweepers, because that way the person doesn't know what's going on and which one's real.
Yeah.
Until you decide to move the Luduan.
He tries to come in your back, and you just shoot him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Takes a Mark 12 or heavy flamethrower to the face.
Yeah. they're not. That's not a bad list at all.
So this is, I really think Ikari is a lot of fun, and so, you've got your Tonko here who can do close combat, protection. These guys should be moving up to the midfield early in the board. Your midfield control on this list, even though you're not using the ninja, seems like it's weak, but realize that these guys should be getting up the board under the cover of smoke within by the bottom of turn 1. And these guys are going to be covering down in your backfield, and then these guys are going to be screaming up on that next piece underneath the cover of smoke. The Rushi's going to be moving up until he hits cover and then engaging everything he wants. With his Spitfire, while one or two of the Ludons can move up, go into suppressive fire. It's just really, really flexible. This is I think this looks like a really fun list.
Yeah, so this would be more of something that you'd be using for the Supremacy then.
Yeah, this is probably my Supremacy list.
You want to check out the other one too, and then we'll just
which one?
Your
this
one that you'd probably use more for acquisition.
Yeah. Okay, so here we go. This is the first time I built one. So what I did was a duo of bounty hunters. The sniper rifle and Red Fury, I think, make fantastic partners.
Yeah.
Because they have overlapping ranges, and who knows what they're going to end up with. But they're designed to be duos. If it doesn't work, if somebody gets a motorcycle, then whatever. I have a Brawler Lieutenant who's just going to swing around and kind of hang out by himself, be extra fodder in case this Brawler MSV2 sniper goes down. I've got the Tonko with missile launcher, and then 3 Keisotsus that are just hanging out. I've got the Pathfinder and the Fugazi for sensor control. So I've got some attack pieces here, some defensive sensor pieces here, and then these guys that can just kind of run off and do their own thing as needed. And the second group, so that's 10 regular orders. In the second group, I've got 4 and 2 irregulars. So the Ninja Hacker is probably in hidden deployment somewhere on the boards. The Killer Hacker, the Brawler Doctor is linked up with a Wu Ming. Interesting note here is that the Wu Ming don't have cubes.
Yes.
And the Brawler Doctor sucks. He's like Pano level.
Yeah, he's not.
Yeah.
He didn't pass his.
No, that's why he's a Brawler.
License, yeah.
Yeah, that's why he's not. Yeah. Somewhere. It's not. Yeah.
He's a chop doc.
That's right. So your chances here of bringing a guy back are only about 60%. Okay, well, that's 60% you didn't have, I guess, and the points worked out.
And he can also hit a button if he needs to.
And he can hit a button if he's not hackable. I thought about using the Assault Hacker, but I was down on SWC because I brought the missile launcher. Tonko. So I use the HMG Wu Ming because Burst 5, BS 13 is good with an HMG.
Burst 4, right?
Burst 4, but Burst 5 and the 3-man links because I got the Harris.
Okay, because it's Harris. Okay.
And here's the Harris guy right here. He's a champion, chain rifle, submachine gun, 0 and 25. And the 2 Yan that just drop down and be Yans. So this one is about getting up and getting a Wu Ming and touching stuff.
All right.
That's really it.
And then Might Ikari acquisition.
Yes.
All right. So I brought the Alpha Seed with the HMG and the smoke.
Yeah.
And all the tools that he could ever want. My
Yeah.
idea is have him be the data tracker because he can kind of march up and hold an area and mine an area and shoot smoke. He can kind of do everything that you want him to do.
Right.
This is also based off of one of the games at Adepticon where I was in the team tournament. Friend Pete and Brent were playing against an Alpha Seed, and they were chasing him around the table. He was just dropping smoke and dodging, and finally got knocked out. And then they paramedicked him back up, and just seemed like it would be a real pain in the ass to shift. So I figured he'd be a nice data tracker.
I think the Alpha Seed is in a funny position within Ikari because he's almost the same points as Daiokai. But you made a good point earlier about why you were thinking about the Alpha Seed over the Daiokai, and it has to do with some of the extra, the 6th Sense level 1 and veteran.
Yeah. I mean, 6th Sense level 1 is wonderful when somebody pokes around a corner.
Right.
Not so great from getting shot in the face from far away, but it's nice to be able to hold that ARO.
Right.
And then I decided to take some Drew's nonsense.
Yeah.
So I got an HMG.
I see that.
Shock marksman rifle, and the combi, the Killer Hacker, and then a Tonko with the missile launcher.
And you didn't bring the EM BS.
Yeah. So I figured that would be kind of my pushing force. You know, they'd be doing most of the heavy lifting, going up against other links. Alpha Seed would probably be going after weaker, smaller targets.
Yeah.
One where you can take a hit or two and survive, or get flash pulse without it ruining a turn. Then I decided to take some Keisotsu just to pad out the list a bit. I brought a Yon and then the Cube Jagger because I figured he'd be a nice guy to pop in and help out the Alpha Seed if needed.
Yeah.
And I've used him in a couple games with Toha, and he's been hilarious. He's immobilized. The 2 games that I took him in, one he immobilized Ajax, and in another one he immobilized Sin. So
both of those are worthwhile and beautiful things to happen.
Yeah, it's 18 points are worth it, especially when something pushes into your back line and you can bang him in on your table edge and
right.
have him just start plinking away.
That's a good point.
And then I brought the Brawler Lieutenant, Ninja Hacker, to hide up there and take a button. And then I took a whole bunch of more regular stuff. So I actually had a lot of fun bringing Yuan in the One Soldiers of Fortune tournament that I took it to at the LVO.
Yeah.
Just dropping them in and having them go to town. I had one, I probably killed at least 5 times what it was worth. It killed a Ninja Hacker. It killed the skirmisher guys, the Guilong, I believe they're called.
Yeah.
And dodged missiles and rockets. He was a whole lot of fun.
Yon are probably one of the most fun models that I've ever played Infinity. They're a bundle of ridiculousness that when they come down, it's just, you don't know what you're going to get. You don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, you kind of just put them out there and like to see what they do. Right.
They're 9 or 8 point. I like the 9-point version because you get the DA, but I completely understand using the cheaper 8-point ones. They jump down, they do pain in the butt things. They're like living mines that run around.
They're pain. And then brought a War Core 2, just also take pictures of how cool Ikari is. And really, he's not such a bad guy. He just
Colonel Wrath.
He just hates Yujing for what they did to him and his family.
He doesn't like JSA very much.
And they stole his Bible too.
Stole his Bible?
Yeah.
They didn't say that.
No.
If you guys haven't read the fluff, it's pretty good. I think I'm gonna do an Ikari army after this, just because I think the fluff is so cool.
It's an interesting one. He's basically a disillusioned soldier, seeing all of his family that followed him into the military lifestyle kind of get screwed over in various ways of being sent into front lines, being scapegoated, and all around ending up dead and
being asked to do seppuku.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the scapegoating.
Oh, okay, that's one.
But and then realizing that he'd kind of spent his entire life working for people that he didn't really like, and then decided that he was going to work for himself.
Yeah. And it's
take out as much revenge as he could.
But I really like they live in the den of scum and villainy.
Yeah, on the human edge.
Which got really fleshed out in this book. Yeah,
it was one that was I don't think many people even really paid much attention to until now, which is nice. It was one that I always thought was interesting, but never really seemed to.
I didn't understand what it was until this book, and this did, by just giving it locations and places that were fleshed out. It definitely did help back out.
Yeah, well, I mean, you kind of get a better understanding of. I mean, from my understanding before was that it was just some outposts in an asteroid belt, but it seems like there's actually some structures built into those asteroids as well for the mining purposes and things like that.
Right. And there's some folks online, I guess, who are talking about how it doesn't make sense that Yujing are the bad guys and whatever. I disagree. I mean, they've got bow troopers.
Well, I mean,
alone bow troopers. They've got
Oh, Guangxi. They're just trying to teach them.
They're
just trying to teach them to go along. I mean,
just go along.
Yeah,
1984 style.
I mean, you try and pretend like they're the bad guys when they're just brainwashing people. I mean,
right?
Yeah.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're the best guys. They're the good guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Toha just find their methods crude.
They're just a more
They're like,
evolved
you
version
guys are
using
bad
it.
at it. That's all I can say. You're not breeding them from birth to follow you. Like,
You're not lobotomizing them right from the beginning to follow your orders. I mean, what do you think?
you're doing it later. Barbarians.
God, you guys are the worst. So this is your supremacy list. So in this, you brought a lot of heavy metal.
Yes. This is my supremacy list. Again, about the Facade, I wanted him to basically hold his own on his own.
Yeah.
He's a lot of points. He's going to be difficult for a lone operative to sneak up on.
Yep.
He's going to take some dedicated firepower, and he can be holed up in an area where he can really use that HMG the best as possible to clear out things that are across the board from him.
Right.
And help the Wu Ming move up and start smashing face as well. I'd probably hold them back a little bit at first, use the Bashi Bazooka to try and disrupt as much as possible. Brought the E-Mauler version because he's perfect for disrupting a link team.
Yeah.
If you can bring him in on the side, pop a couple of those down, and then just pump as many orders as you can into him, trying to get him to isolate and break links. Desperado's there to move up the table on his own, and also throw some smoke for the Bashi Bazooka to come down in.
So your idea here is you probably move the Facade up into the near table quadrant, so probably spend 2 orders on him moving up, and then the rest of your orders are going to be spent on pushing like the Wu Ming link up into a zone and the Bashi.
Yeah, so I'd probably keep the Clipper back far, just with a nice overlook or overwatch area, but spend a couple orders, moving the Facade and the Wu Ming link in, and then pumping orders into the Bashi Bazooka, try and get him to disrupt them taking a zone as much as possible.
Okay.
And then I have group number 2, which is just more fun with Desperados and Yuan Yuan. They're not going to be doing much other than just disrupting.
Right. You just want them to break up zonal control pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's...
Yuan Yuan, if you can pop him in somewhere and have him go after a link, that's well worth the 8 points that he is.
Absolutely.
He can also throw smoke again to keep that Bashi Bazooka. So, they'd be doing all the movement first, so that kind of determined what I was going to end up doing.
Right.
But it seems like it'd be some fun stuff to do. And then, of course, the ubiquitous Ninja Hacker to pop up. And
so you took the heavy pistol version of the Desperados. Did you think about taking the assault pistol versions?
They're
the same price point.
I thought I brought one of each.
I know I'm just asking.
No. So the submachine gun one, I feel like would be doing what I need him to do, and then the heavy pistols has got the chain rifle as well. So he's kind of more just the he's the cheaper version.
11 points is crazy for what they can do. The chain rifle is so good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all for 8-4 movement.
Yeah,
you can get that chain rifle somewhere and make it a little bit nasty.
Yeah, I think a lot of people. So remember, guys, the Wu Ming link. Did you include the? Yeah, there he is. So here's the Harris Wu Ming. So he's got he's got his hacker here providing allowing him to take the Clipper. All of this has to start can start as a 5-man link here. Then you have, if one of these goes down, you can't reform the link unless you reform it as a Harris, and then it has to be 2 Wu Ming and a Brawler. It's just as an idea.
Now, is that a special Harris, or is that the only Harris that they get? Because that was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that he'd be able to do that on his own. But I could be mistaken.
Yeah, let's double check. Yeah, there's been so many questions about this.
Well, they have the Harris option, so that's the big thing.
They have the Harris option, which is here. But that just allows them to do it. So they have special fire team Harris, which is the Wu Ming, and the Clipper or the Brawler. So you still have the Clipper and the Brawler in there that you can do something.
So do you have to bring the big thing is, do you have to bring the Harris Wu Ming to be able to do that? Because it just says 2 Wu Ming.
Yes.
Okay.
So one of them has to be the Harris, because Harris and Duo have to have the keyword in order to do it. Core does not. It just has to be identified as a core. Ian Wood's been all over the place right now trying to resolve this issue on WGC. Infinity because it's caused a lot of confusion, and then you've seen things that say Fireteam Core up here, but that's not a special skill.
Yeah.
But Fireteam Harris is. So it's there's been a lot of
it makes it a little bit confusing, but
yeah,
good to know. But yeah, so
no, that looks like a fun list. I think
back
there's
to the list. It seems like it's just pretty punchy. I mean, it's low order count. I've got a ton of irregular orders. That was kind of one of the things that when I was building these lists,
that you wanted to play with.
Wanted to play with, and also was just running into, because I was like, oh man, this seems like a whole lot of fun, and I'm like, I have no regular orders.
I think that's one of the big pieces. One of the big things about the armies in general that come with NA2 is how many. I mean, JSA is a standard army, and therefore there are not a lot of irregular options. Even Musashi started following orders and started hanging out with folks.
Well, when he's hanging out with Tonko, he's like, "Hey guys, check this out."
Is one of the Tonkos. Hey, I know you guys are new.
He's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, but they showed up with mono filament.
Yeah,
and he doesn't. But
yeah, but with explosive and AP, he's going to be taking whatever
good.
he wants out.
Yeah,
and he's also probably going to be critting a whole lot more than they will be.
Yeah, especially when you get all three of them in there. I really like that Harris. I think that's a cool
it's a fun Harris.
It's like 23 points apiece for the Tonkos, and then 28 points for him.
27, I think, or maybe 28 for that version. But yeah, he's a lot of fun.
And then Drew's is a more regular, large security force. SatrCo is one of the largest security forces in the fluff, but they still have a lot of irregular impacts because they hire in, like a Katerin, and they've got Raoul who does what he wants to do. And if you haven't read the fluff for Raoul because you haven't bought the book, because you're waiting for some reason, or because you don't like fluff, you're wrong.
It could have been,
Raoul's pretty cool.
Waiting on the delivery.
He's Moon Knight.
He's a very interesting. He's also kind of hilarious because he's basically been hooked up with all the Synth Star type of equipment, so that some crazy pervert basically can listen to everything that he does and experience everything that he does, and it's like, yeah, go do crazy stuff. I don't care what it is. I'll keep reviving you. I'll get your cube back. Just have fun, because I want to listen in now and then.
And not now and then. It even talks about him whispering in his ear.
Telling him to do
certain things.
Well, he's not hooked up to him all the time.
Right.
But whenever he's bored.
Creepy life.
Yeah. Super creepy.
But
that's why I accurately described him. Yeah, he's a pervert. He's kind of weirdo.
I think they even describe him as he's like that hugely obese Drews guy in the Alp.
He's much worse than that. That guy, he's much worse than that guy. But you expect he probably looks somewhat like that.
Yeah. So yeah, and then you got Ikari, which is a ton of irregular orders, which is the remnants of a Japanese colonel that decided to get away from the Japanese and really doesn't like anybody and just work on his own and not care. I think there's a lot of flavor. Each one of the sectorials now is such a different flavor to it that
for all the NA.
Yeah, I mean, really bouncing between, if you buy the Japanese starter set, you buy the Drews, and you could bounce between these three factions
fairly easily,
and feel very good about yourself, and you could. That's what you buy, and you've got three different armies to play, and I think they play in three very different ways, do very different things.
Japanese are very interesting right now because they are a mid-range assault army, which seems like where the place they were before, but I think with the limited Tonko availability, you're not going to see as many of the castle formation of two missile launchers. I mean, you'll run into it, but I think there's a lot more options now with the Ryukin to do a lot of midfield play.
Right. To mitigate that, you've got the Ryukin costing the good Ryukin, which is the ODD one from the midfield and mine layer.
I like the other one too. You can do some fun stuff.
Sure.
But
but they're 0.5 SWC. You have your TR bot being 1.5 SWC. You have the Rushi being 1.5 SWC. So you have a lot. There's a lot of demands on that SWC. So seeing double missile launcher, old school Haramaki is I don't think you're going to see it then.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's still an option that you can do,
Right.
but it's I feel like also with the extra availability of what the Tonko can do, you're maybe losing out on some of the cool options that they
Right.
can do.
I think when we have Michael back on, because Michael's really, I mean, so Michael's a very famous and prolific Pano player, and so he's been jumping into JSA. They were his first army he ever bought. He's been jumping into them pretty hard. He had a great showing at our tournament. We had 17 people, and he won. Tony got number 2 with SatrCo.
Free company of the star.
Free, if you're verbose, yes. So I know that Michael has a lot of ideas about JSA right now, especially in his initial impressions. I mean, he's coming from such a different place. I think we'll have a deeper talk about that, and maybe some periodic talks about JSA and his forays into that in the future.
Yeah.
But for right now, we really just wanted to, I think, talk about these.
Yeah, I mean, they're
Ikari
kind
got
of wildly
third place.
different. Really?
Yeah, so it was
all NA2?
Yeah, so the 17
Flexing their
person tournament.
muscles?
Yeah, it was Chris Barney.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, he shows up out of nowhere, and he played Ikari. So we had JSA get number 1, SatrCo get number 2, Ikari get number 3, and I don't really remember what happened after that.
All right.
But everyone said it was a fun tournament.
Yeah.
So we'll do that one again. But that's it for this episode, guys. We just really wanted to go over some of our thoughts and initial list previews. We're going to be doing a couple different things here in the future. And now that I'm feeling generally better, you should see more of me, for better or ill. Thanks. Thanks, Obi.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.